Today we're going to make blueberry scones. How am I qualified to teach you to make blueberry scones? Well, I don't have any training or experience in the culinary arts. I haven't baked anything since well before the bicentennial. And honestly, I'm not even sure what a scone is. So how do I have the courage, the fortitude, the bravery to even attempt to make scones? Well, I was inspired by a video that I watched from the UT Extension White County 4-H. It was made by special culinary agent in charge. I'm not sure we're allowed to say names, but let's call her Roseanne. So what is a scone anyway? Well, it's a baked good. I think that much is obvious. It uses baking powder as a leavening agent. I'm not sure what that means. And it's often a little sweet with an egg or milk wash over the top of it. The first thing you need is a bowl. All great baking projects begin with a bowl. Don't worry about this. This is just a second camera, or as I call it, a telephone, pointing down into the bowl. Viewers often feel cheated if they can't see what's going on in the bowl, although I don't know why you would, in this case especially because we're just mixing together a bunch of white powder. Then whisk it together, make sure it's completely mixed. A little aside here, the word scone comes from Scots Gaelic. Some places in the British Isles it's scone, other places it's actually scones. Okay, so after you've got this mixture mixed up pretty well, you take a half a cup, it looks like a full cup, but it's cubed cold butter. It's only half a cup, looks like a full cup because it's cubed. We don't have a pastry cutter.
If you don't have a pastry cutter, you are welcome to use a fork.
This is really the most tedious part. I'm going to say this is close enough. It's supposed to be a grainy, mealy texture to it, and I guess that's what it's got. Okay, next, frozen blueberries. And the reason we're using frozen blueberries, Miss Roseanne said everything that you use should be cold as possible, because cold is the secret to flaky baking. Okay, this would be a good time to start your oven. Otherwise you'll be sitting around waiting for it to get warm. Seems kind of obvious, but I know a lot of you are beginners. Now comes the wet part. Half a cup of heavy cream, an egg. Don't put the whole egg in, just take the shell away. You don't want to use the shell. And then about half a lemon's worth of lemon juice. And you mix this up. Now the secret here is don't overmix it. If you overmix it, something bad happens. I don't know what, but you just don't do it. It's not good baking. Some mistakes were made. Apparently you're supposed to mix the egg, the milk, and the lemon together in a separate container and not with a fork in with the dry mixture. And you're supposed to use a spatula, not a fork. So I think this is probably too wet. So now we form this into a roundish, pizza-like thing. And then fold it. and it's really wet. This is not good. I could add more flour, I suppose, but I don't have enough experience with this to know what to do. It's really damp, overly damp, I think. So now you want to cut it into eighths. The lesson here is don't approach your scone making with a cavalier attitude. You've got to focus and really work at it. This is turning into a disaster. Okay, now we slide these over onto a baking pan with parchment. Okay, that's not good. I'm going to say the basic problem here is the wetness is extreme. Live and learn. You learn from your mistakes and you move forward. This is sad. These are going to be some ugly ass scones here. Okay, we'll see how this turns out. Alexa, start a scone timer for 13 minutes.
13 minutes, starting now.
So many mistakes. So many mistakes. I should have mixed the cream and the lemon juice and the egg separately before I put them in with the dry ingredients. Should have used a spatula, not a fork. What was I thinking? I probably ended up mashing the berries. Why don't we have a pastry cutter anyway? All the things I did wrong. Maybe I'm just not meant to be a baker.